All right, guys, I want to let the audience build here for a minute, but welcome to KBN Live. We are live tonight with some exciting guests. We got some fellas from the newly formed BASS Nation Kayak Series. It kind of sounds like Kayak Bass Nation, so we kind of got the perfect name going. But like I said, as people jump on here, we will kind of introduce you guys and let you know who we've got with us. But if you are just now jumping on, please help us out and share this video to your local group so they can kind of get the info that we're going to pass out tonight. I am your host, of course, Jeff Malott. Ryan Lambert is my co-host, but he is not here tonight. He's off celebrating a birthday with family, so we miss you, Ryan, but I'll try to hold it down for us tonight. And our panel, you guys probably recognize each of them. We've got Dwayne Walley there with us, Tyler Cole, and then Steve Owens. Steve just dropped off, but I'm sure he'll jump back in here. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. It's an exciting time for kayak fishing. A lot of people have been looking forward to tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate you calling us up and inviting us to the show, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. It's, it's been all the talk on social media for a week or two now, ever since the announcement dropped. So people I'm sure they've got their questions holstered up and ready to roll. We'll try to answer as many as we can. I've got some written down here that I'm going to bounce off you guys first, and then we'll get into the crowd Q&A, so to speak. But let me get the stream pulled up on my phone so that I can actually see what people are asking me and what's going on here. I got to turn my volume down. I told you guys to do it, and I'm not doing it. How about that? All right, we got Todd Patrick on, Charles Hoskin, 20-something people so far. I'm sure the audience will keep building. But like I said, if you're just now getting on here, please help us out and give this video a share so that more people can get this information. I'll get it over to our group page real quick. All right. Hey, so I'm going to kind of go down my list of questions with you guys, and there's three of you, so one of you speak up and just kind of take each question as you want to, and then we can get on a few specific for each of you with the regions you're in. So just to start off, I know you guys have all probably had multiple calls with the folks from Bass. Why exactly did they get involved? I mean, obviously kayak fishing is booming, but can any of you touch on why Bass jumped into the kayak fishing game to begin with?
I feel, we've had multiple conversations with them in the beginning, and I think it's just because they realize now's the time. I think they're seeing just how the camaraderie is between the kayak fishing group and the community, and I think that they realize that, hey, it's time for them to get moving, get on the stick, and get this done. And we had some conversations with them, and they were tickled to death about it. They tested out TurnX once or twice, and they really enjoyed it. They saw how seamless it was to use, and it was, for them, it was a pretty easy choice to go down this road and get this thing going.
Yeah, I know, Steve, we talked a little bit, offline before the show about this, and you talked about, the sheer numbers of people they serve, and you want to touch on that, on how they came to that decision?
Yeah, the guys there, they've been just, over generous with anything we need, because all of us have ran tournaments, but this scale is obviously intimidating. But he had mentioned, people who have lifelong memberships from childhoods with their grandparents and dads and moms. They've been Bass members for so long, and literally they don't fish tournaments or anything like that. They just do it. You see the stickers in trucks everywhere you go, phone booths and things like that. They used to be around, but and he said, that's a clientele that pays us money, and we can't give them any kind of return. And then as you guys have grown this sport of kayaking, we now have something to be able to step in, and for that, $15 or $30 a year that they pay, we can in turn help build a structure to get those people off the sidelines and into the game. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. The local groups have blown it up all over the country. There's other big organizations, so it made sense. I was just curious, did they really? It doesn't sound like it was just a kind of a sideshow kind of deal that they're trying to test the waters. They really see the value in what's going on here with kayak fishing.
Yeah, I tell you, I've heard a lot of people say that is this another sideshow? I'm getting chill bumps going. I know it's not, to be honest with you guys. I had a long conversation with
In 8 months.
Right. I had a conversation with some of their people on their side, and what they were telling me were they're going, strategically they set these tournaments up so they did not correspond with anything from the elite series, the college series, the the high school series. They wanted every aspect of what they do, they want to be separated, right? So they want to put their full attention to each individual section, whether it's the elites, whether it's the kayakers, whether it's the college series or the high school series. So they're going to do it right, and that's what their that's their concept. So,
and we're going to touch on some of that about as far as them trying to work around it and not overlap with different things. I know there was some talk on our group page about one of the events overlapping with an MLF event, and we'll kind of touch on the reason for that here in a little bit. But now, did Bass? There's rumors to who the mastermind was behind this. I know all of you guys have been involved, and I know, Dwayne, you've been integral in making this happen. But did Bass reach out to you guys? Did you guys reach out to Bass? How did this kind of come about?
And put it back in his own trip on.
I guess I need to answer that one. I guess it was kind of reciprocal. They, we kind of had a conversation with each other, and they were, it is what it is. We had this discussion. We talked about what we wanted, what they wanted to do, and like I said, I would set up a couple of test tournaments, and they checked it out. And I think they'd been looking around, what we do and how we do it, and saw how streamlined it was. It's not as far as just Tourney X, but I'm talking about the kayak community itself. I think that's what they were looking at, and they just realized it was time.
Well, it's awesome. People are excited. We're already getting questions come in. We'll kind of get back to some of them when we get to the rules, but it's motor, no motor, and I think it is yes to motors. Is that right, guys?
Yes to motors, right. Yes.
So from there, let's get into the schedule a little bit. I've got the schedule scrolling across the screen. If anybody watching has any specific schedule questions, fire them off there.
Just to let you know, we already have 22 anglers signed up for the Logan Martin tournament, and I've already got about 12 or so per each of the tournament so far.
That's awesome.
So it's already coming in. We have the tournaments listed on Tourney X. You will not have to sign up on Tourney X. What you will do is make sure you have a Tourney X account. Make sure that when you create your Bass Nation account and you sign up to pay, use the same email address, because that's what they're going to send us. We're going to add you to the tournament manually. Okay, we're going to do that for this year.
Right.
And just letting you guys know, that's the steps we need to take.
Katie Bacca just put the link in the comments to get there for the rules and stuff, so that's cool. You touched on Logan Martin. Any of you want to comment on why they chose that Thursday as the first event? There were some guys kind of up in arms about that a little. Not up in arms, but just concerned about it being on a Thursday.
I can do that if you don't mind. I'm sorry it's just the way things have turned out. We had a meeting with Bass, and they at first they wanted to have it the weekend before. To be honest with you, they wanted it the weekend before the Bass Classic, and not they wanted it. We talked about that, but my thought process is, and what we kind of pitched to them was, hey, if they come fish it on that weekend before, the winners may not return to be back to walk across the stage, because that's the whole thing. They're looking to have anglers walk across the stage, the top 10 or whatever that number is going to be. We don't know yet. They're talking about that, but that's the whole idea. Is they want the full experience to be the Bassmaster Classic.
Sure.
So the idea was we pitched the idea of having it on Thursday. Our tournament will be over with on Thursday afternoon. The winners, the top people, won't be identified. We'll let them know who they might be, but they won't know what position they're in. And then, of course, the awards are going to be Friday night, and they'll get to walk across the stage. So we were thinking, hey, the guys that are there, if they want to stay, they can go to the Classic. They can, hang out at the Classic, go to the booth, maybe work a booth or whatever they got to do, and then it'll be like a whole weekend deal for them, starting on Thursday. So
I got you. So they wanted to be able to clear space, not be competing over the same weekend as the Classic, but still be able to share the same venue and be part of the whole extravaganza.
And I believe the weekend before is going to be the high school and the college, I believe. So
I got you. Well, that makes sense then when you talk about it like that. Go ahead, Tyler.
It'll be a big kickoff for the Classic. This being the new division and everything, I think it'll think it'll be neat for everybody to see it.
Yeah, and it's also their way of saying, buddy, you guys are real.
Yeah. And this is the 50th. This is not the 50th anniversary, but this is the 50th Classic. So I think it's the 49th year, but the 50th Classic is how they do that. So they wanted to kick that off with a bang, and I think that we should feel really, I think all of our guys and everybody here should be honored that we're going to be on the forefront of something brand new. And hey, we can look back and go, hey, we were there at the 50th.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then next year's the 2021 championship will be kind of in conjunction with the Classic on a lake nearby or whatever. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the idea.
We're going to get to Todd Patrick just asked why only one-day events and not two. What was the deciding factor? Steve, you or Tyler want to comment on that? I know we kind of talked about that before.
I can. Yeah, and we, the main premise around that was so that you can, reach a broader audience because, obviously, the Hobie's set up as a 2-day event, which is, the top shelf competition, to prove your 2-day thing. Well, there's a lot of people who can't, due to scheduling, life application, things like that, can't do that. We feel like coming in year one.
We lost Steve there for a second.
We lost Steve.
I pick up. Coming in year one, it's going to give guys a lot better chance to travel with being single day.
Gives them that extra day to get home.
Extra day to get home. That's one thing we really talked about was getting the guys back home on Sunday, giving them time to get back to their families, and but yet also be able to participate in a tournament. Sorry about that, Steve-O. Kind of glitched out on us.
No, that's all right. Skype's weird.
Yeah.
Skype's weird and touchy, so who knows how that'll go for the night. We'll just keep hanging in there and pressing on. We've got a bunch of people on here. We're sitting around 80, 90 people that are on the live stream, so we appreciate you guys getting on. Keep asking your questions. We'll try to get to them. If you're watching this, like I said, give this a share to your local group if you're going to be interested in fishing this stuff. We've got some people asking about the state level for Bass Nation. Steve's going to move to a little different spot for a Wi-Fi signal. But we'll get to some of that with the rules here in just a minute. Let's continue on with some of the venues. Do you guys want to weigh in on how they were chosen? I mean, they're all, well-known fisheries and should be great locations. But how did you guys come down on these being the first 5 that were chosen?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I'd always wanted to have a tournament on Chickamauga because it's one of the hottest lakes in the United States, right? So it's one of the hottest or best lakes. And the first person that came to mind was Steve-O, and just the work that he does. And that's kind of how we chose our tournament directors, as well as we chose them by location of lakes and what have you. So Steve-O was going to head up to Chickamauga, and originally we had planned on doing Sam Rayburn, but Sam Rayburn had some conflicts. We could not get a date, and so we moved it to Lake Fork. And in that aspect, we got Patrick Malone. He's over that area, over in Texas. He did a great job this year with East Texas kayak anglers, and stepped up to the plate with those guys and did an excellent job. And then you got Tyler Cole. What can I say about Tyler, man? He is fabulous. I mean, he brings people together. He does a great job up in the north, in the La Crosse area. He knows that area. So that's how we chose that lake. And then we couldn't leave out, of course, the West Coast with Clear Lake. And we got a new guy out there, Juan Nunez. We chose him because he lives there by the lake. He's new. He wants to be involved. He's very well known out that way. And that's how that came about.
Now, I talked with Steve, I think, had a little phone call with him. We talked about this Lake Fork conflict with the MLF on the schedule. And just so everyone knows, and Tyler or Dwayne, correct me if I'm wrong, but BASS had this booked with the city there, with the local group, and on the books way before the MLF schedule came out. Is that right?
That's what I heard from them, from from them. Yes.
It wasn't public because obviously the details were still getting worked out and trying to put this together. So this wasn't a case. I know a lot of people commented on KBN on the group page about, was this a case of Bass trying to poke at MLF and that kind of deal?
No.
Absolutely not. This was scheduled way ahead of time. It just happened that when MLF came out, Bass was already locked into that day, locked into the venue, and it had nothing to do with that. So I think we can clear the air on that once and for all. Go ahead, Tyler.
The biggest thing I've learned since starting this journey so far is Bass isn't about competing. It's about bringing people together. You know, we're all out here chasing the green fish. You know, we're not out here to step on people's toes. We're not here to take away from other events. That's not what any of this is about. It's to give another platform that everybody can fish and bring the people together. You know, like I said, I love seeing everybody from across the nation come up to lacrosse. I love it.
I'm coming this year, by golly.
And I really think in the last year or so it's really picked up as a destination place. I mean, it's coming around. So
And we still kind of lost Steve-O there. I got a couple more questions for him, but hopefully he can get a good signal in his house and get back on there.
There he is, coming in.
Hey,
Hey, there he is.
Hey.
All right, there he is. Way to go.
I had to move to the other side of the house and get a MacBook out, man. I don't know what's up back there in that cave, so.
That's all right. You're back. At least
Sorry about that.
At least there's nobody throwing shade at the Arkansas internet this time. I don't know. I don't know. Catch that.
Yeah, it's that Saudi Daisy stuff up here.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going through the venues. Let's talk about, if you guys can, the state championship. There's been a lot of questions about that, the state championship qualifiers and how to get hooked up with that and get people that maybe can't travel to a bunch of events still a chance to get to that classic championship.
Are you guys all right with me? I've dealt with this literally
Yeah.
all
Man,
Yeah. All right. How that'll work?
He's gonna get long-winded, so hang on to yourself.
Yeah, it's complex on our end just because we are kind of navigating to lay the groundwork for this because it is brand new. But how it will work is each state's BASS Nation president, was standing right now, will have a kayak person who will set up however it's going to work in each state. Like if your state's brand new, you're basically building the foundation with it. Here in Tennessee, we're going through what we hope will work for us, which I'm not going to touch on it because there's a whole lot of stuff going on with it. But basically what happens is you reach out to the state president and he will get with you, and when you establish the format you're going to use, it needs to culminate with a state championship in conjunction with that state's BASS Nation Kayak Series trail. And each member will join the BASS Nation $30 dues fee. And what you get with that is your club's top 10% at the end of the season at that state championship, the top 10% or 5, whichever's greatest, qualify for the 2021 Bassmaster Classic, since you don't just show up and pay for it like this one. It's a qualification event for the national championship. And from that, you also get their umbrella insurance over your anglers and your trail that you do. So, I mean, that's a huge thing for us, grassroots. Now, the one thing that's unique and amazing about it is once you join BASS Nation and set up, like say, you know, Jeff, if you were that president, you would go in, submit the list of names, pay the check for everybody's membership fees. Then you go in and build your roster from those anglers once they're added to that database. And then that's your roster for the season. You can add to it and take away as needed. So that's your club. It's encompassed with everything. So
Yeah, that's nice. And I've actually reached out to our Arkansas guy. For anybody from Arkansas that's watching this, I've actually reached out to the Arkansas president as well. So we're going to try to get our state championship on board, and I bet a lot of more people do that as well, because that $30 membership fee per angler is still a lot cheaper than what other people are. There's some other people joining with other organizations to get that insurance, and it's a little bit cheaper deal to if that's why you're trying to do it. It's a little bit cheaper deal and a lot of benefits there. So.
Well, the thing with BASS's insurance is it is the, creme de la creme. It's the top shelf. That's what you want. And what I meant to say, and I lost my train of thought on it, is once you establish that, literally, that is it as far as BASS goes. these still stay grassroots kayak trails. They don't want to step in and tell you how to do one solitary thing other than, join. That's it. So you have the keys to it to make it, as good or as bad as you can. So
Yeah,
they're really big on relaying. It's still yours. It's still the grassroots. All you're doing is partnering, getting your insurance, getting the name out there, helping grow to pull those people off the bank into the game like I was talking about. So
yeah, that's awesome. We got some questions coming in. We'll get to some of these that I've written down when we get to the rules. If you're just now getting on, like I said, help us out and give us a share and keep your questions coming. I'm going to try to keep writing them down and we'll catch up as we go. But next, let's get into there's some questions on the group about sponsor money and bonus money and what that's going to look like. Also, everybody, when there's a tournament, they ask, well, hey, what, there's obviously sponsor money here. There's some holdback from the tournament fees. What's all this for? And I think there's some really good explanations for why they're doing things the way they do it. So does anyone want to touch on that?
Steve,
I don't care to. Yeah, sure. Let me get the screen out a little bit. I'm trying to do too much at one time to see all y'all. But the based on 150 entry fee money holdback, that literally is to pay for what it cost us to do what we're doing. And Bass's statement on, the title sponsor money kind of thing is this is the new arena that we've set up. And, that money goes for the budget that isn't split up. So all the money for high school, college, pros, the elite series, and the kayakers is there. So starting into this, they're using their dollars up front to get everything going and started. That will kind of help it recoup. And in the end, Bass is there. They're building this. They have to have that advertising money to pay for all their other bills to keep everything going like it is. And it's pretty simple and it's pretty easily to understand that that's how it is.
Yeah. So if I understand it right, from the Elite Series down to the Kayak Series, it's one big pot of money that they're paying for everything, right?
yes.
It is. And one thing we are working on is to try to set up some sort of bonus bucks from sponsors, and we have free reign to be able to try and do that. So I think the Berkeley cash for cash is a thing. They're going to try to incorporate that with us as we go. So, and again, this is new. We're building it. We'll add the things to it that we can for perks. As we go forward and prove our weight, we'll be able to gain other things in year 2 and things like that. So the entire season long, and all of us well enough, send us a message, send us a text. We're writing these things down because they absolutely have said going forward, if what we need to tweak each year, just like AJ and Kevin do with Hobie, they listen, they change, they adapt, and they give us what we love. So we
actually tweaked a few things this last night. Just just so you know, we had a few tweaks in the rules and made them more on the lines of what we do already. Just so y'all know, and it's going to be fine. So they're really willing to work with us. They're doing a great job with it. I'm actually some of that money we're actually paying. We're paying our judges. We're paying our tournament directors. We're taking care of all those things. That's some of the holdback money as well. I'm just straight up with you. It's part of doing business. It's what we've got to do to make this thing go in the right direction.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's how it should be, and the fact that it's going to be up front and people know that's fine. As long as you're not trying to sell people on the fact that you're going in the hole and whatever. And hold money. So
no smoke screen.
No.
Can I back up on one thing real fast? The $30 dues, our president here in Tennessee brought up some very good points, and he wanted me to kind of pass these along to everybody.
Sure.
Some trails, with it being 100% of your membership joining the Bass, with your $30 fee, it's not just to fish with Jeff's Club or whatever. It's, Bass fights for public access to stay for kayak launching and boat launching here in Dayton and in Watts Bar Dam above it in Spring City. They're actually putting in kayak only ramps, and all of that comes from these fishing organizations helping with dollars and things. And they also help fight like the Asian carp epidemic we've got. Your $30, that some of that money trickles too over in those areas as well. Clean Water Acts, things like that. So it's not only just to fish; it's to help keep our world sustainable that we get to play in.
Right. So Bass is out there fighting for what we do. You know, from the bass boats to the bank. Right.
Right. Yeah. It's a good way.
So we can touch on the sponsors before we get out of here at some point if you want. I know everybody's kind of familiar with the big presenting sponsors. I'm pumped that Old Town's going to be involved in this thing. So,
And your grassroots has free reign to reach out for your mom and pops to still include the people who are helping us right now.
Yeah,
they can be a part of the grassroots trail. So.
Yeah, at your state levels, whether they're bass sponsors or not, right?
Correct. One has to be encouraged, he said.
And they know the ins and outs. Okay, Jeff. So your local bass sponsor, your local bass presidents and organizations, they know what they can and can't do. So that's going to be a huge help.
Jim Clark just asked, is the $30 different from the $15 membership he just paid?
It is.
It is. Okay, it is. So it's $45 total, I guess. The $15 just allows you to be a member of Bass and fish the opens. The $30 makes you a part of Bass Nation and allows you to qualify through the state championship, correct?
Correct.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to be both, basically. You have to be the Bass member and a Bass Nation member.
And with both of those, you do get the magazine as well, Bassmaster and then Bass Times. So
Right, I got you. So in other words, you don't have to be a member of the $30 Bass Nation if you're not trying to qualify through your state championship. If you're just doing the opens,
No.
Right.
You'll pay. There's 15. Right.
That makes sense. Well, let's get on to some of these rules, and then we can try to get caught up on some questions. I know that from the initial rules release, there's been a few changes. We already talked about the 1 day versus 2 day event. A lot of people asked early on, are nets allowed?
Yes.
Yes, the nets are allowed. Okay. As far as launch locations, is it like every other kayak tournament, public access only?
Yeah.
correct.
Doesn't have to be a boat
exclusive.
ramp, right? Doesn't have to be a boat ramp, just public access. All right.
Correct.
Yep.
Public
Has to be a public access.
Yeah. Now,
So, like, you're staying at a campground, and you can't just drag off in front of your campsite. You got to go to a ramp or a public area.
okay. And then one of the things that a lot of people were, somebody said, why can't you call someone else fishing in the tournament? We can get to that. Okay, so one thing that changed, people were kind of up in arms about the tiebreaker that was first put in the rules. It was like most fish submitted or something like that.
Yes.
And that has now been changed to
Biggest fish like it is on Tourney X.
big bass, just like it is on Tourney, and on down. Second biggest
Yes.
bass, third biggest bass.
Yes.
No
We
times.
had that conversation last night late. The five of us got on a call with the bass rep, and we went over a few things that we thought that were first of all, I'd have to reprogram Tourney X to make it work the way they had it, and so they were very gracious about making the changes for us and getting them taken care of. So we appreciated that.
Okay, so good. That's a big change. Also, there was another thing about the GoPro usage. There's a lot of guys on here that are aspiring YouTubers, and they were worried about not being able to use the footage that they capture. Anybody want to comment on that?
Yeah, the GoPro footage, and he touched on it on that one objective as well. And then last night he explained it even better. You have your GoPro footage; it's yours. That clause is in every one of their fishing series for the hopes or outlook of if GoPro or Garmin were to reach out and become a sponsor of, what they would say is we want Jeff's day one footage so we can put a video out for that angler and for our advertisement purposes because we're paying you a lot of money. So they will have first dibs at putting your content out, and then after, say, 8 days or something, whatever, they negotiate, then you still have full use of your GoPro content. That clause is in there for future reference maybe, but as of right now, it's only black and white, it's only ink. They're not touching on it, it's not enforced in any kind of way. You can go live, do whatever you need to with your GoPro. So
Kind of like they do now. You see the pros; they have their own YouTube channels, and a week or two later they'll drop footage. So
yeah.
Joshua Booth asked about. Josh Booth asked. I just want to grab this one real quick.
Sure.
He said, once we're a Bass member, how do we pay the other $30? Can you touch on that, Steve?
Yeah, that'll be, let's just say Jeff is the Arkansas president, and so he will go through with, say if they've got 8 clubs in the state, everyone collects the dues, sends him the roster, sends him their check. He then uploads it to BASS. When they cut back to him and put everyone in that mainframe, then he cuts them a check for the entire thing.
So it's through your state's BASS Nation. The local guy collects the check, gives that to the state's BASS Nation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Easy enough. Josh Evans, a little bit ago on the stream here, asked, how do you qualify if you don't have a state championship per se in your state? Can you fish another state's BASS Nation state championship?
If you join that club, I'm sure you can. Yeah.
I guess that'd be based on that club's qualifying standards for the state championship.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So,
are the captains' meetings? This is another question from the guys watching. Are the captains' meetings mandatory the night before the tournament?
It's something we haven't discussed. Some form of it will be. Obviously, we want everybody there live, but just like with the other trails, we want to be sensitive to get you there, safely. So we'll come back and answer that. To be honest with you, I mean, we'll for certain have a virtual meeting at every one of them in case that way it is actually on record. If you've forgotten something, you can come back and watch it. Go ahead, Dwayne. Sorry.
Let me say this: that at every event, you will have to go through a check-in line. You're going to have to. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's going to happen the night before. So whether you're there on time or not, whatever decisions made about the captain's meeting, you're going to have to go through the line because we got to do W9. Not we do, but there's going to be a BASS rep there, so there'll be W9s taken care of. There's going to be ruler checks, board checks. There's going to be license checks. So one thing you've got to make sure you have is, yes, they are going to check your fishing license.
That's a new one. I like that, though.
It is. But
sorry, Lambert.
They are very, look, they're a business. This is by the book. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, when they said it, I was like, what? But now I get it. I understand. So make sure you got your license. You don't have your license, you're going to have to get it. You got to purchase it before you fish.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, this was a while back, I wrote it down. I think they saw the 150 on there as projected payout, but they asked, is there a 150 angler cap? I don't believe there's any cap. Is that right?
No cap.
No cap.
So the payout?
No, they're just basing the numbers off 150 boats.
I got you.
So if we go higher, we recalculate and go from there. So,
and BASS handles all that, by the way. That's on them.
Does Tyler, will payouts go? Do they stop at the 150, or they'll just scale up from 150 up? Right.
They'll scale up, scale down.
I got you. Perfect. Are they still paying 20% of the field, regardless of how? Like, if it's a 50-man field, are they still going to pay 20% of the field? Is that how it's going to go?
That I'm not sure. I can find out. Yeah. And I'm assuming on the scale back, it'll probably be less of the field.
I got you. Anybody else watching? Make sure you keep firing your questions here. We got a bunch of people on the stream.
I think John said something about it. If there's less members, I think they said I may be wrong. So if I say this, please, if it changes. I think they said the number that the payouts might be less, but they're going to pay the same amount of anglers. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong by saying that. Do you remember him saying something about that, Steve?
I thought that number did stay just for graphics purposes,
okay.
But it was less.
We'll get some more information on that.
All right.
So.
Katie asked, will they accept a digital license on the Texas Parks app, or will it have to be a paper copy? I'm sure I don't know. That sounds like semantics. I don't know.
If it were me, I would take the digital, but we'll get clarification on that. Right. So I don't see why not, because I'll be honest with you, I don't own a paper one. Every one of mine are digital. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for the lacrosse tournament, just to let you know that on the river you have to carry a paper license.
Oh wow!
Bam! The tournament director has spoken.
That's Wisconsin DNR. So it is reciprocal water up there. So you can either have a Minnesota license, a Wisconsin license, or an Iowa license, and they're all valid from train track to train track. But Wisconsin says that you have to carry paper. So
hey Tyler,
I'll make sure. Yeah,
You wanna comment on what pools are going to be in play for that? Because I haven't really seen that yet.
7, 8, and 9.
Pool 7, 8, 9. Okay. Was that 7, 8? What did we use when we came up to the trail event you had this year? What pools were those?
The Iowa event was 9 and 10.
Okay.
And
7, 8, 9.
Yeah, 7, 8, and 9, you get into some awesome rice grass. You get into some awesome pads. And in August, it should be an amazing frog bite.
I don't know how many of you guys watching have been up there. The first time I went was this year. Tyler hosted an event up there. He did a great job with it. I didn't have the best event. I had a blast. I caught fish, but it was one of the most amazing places I've ever fished. So if you haven't been there, I think there's a Hobie BOS event up there too. And then now this bass event, so there's 2 chances to get up there. Kind of like Lake Fork. There's a BOS event on Lake Fork a couple weeks before the BASS event. So there's a couple chances to hit these places. But yeah, it's a beautiful place up there, Tyler.
You know, that's the beauty of all this, man. I mean, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, that's the beauty of all this. It's not a bass thing, man. It's a fishing thing. Okay.
Yeah.
If you can't make the bass event, you can make the KBF event. If you can't make that event, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's got to work. Everybody's got to make a living. You can make the Hobie event. You know what I'm saying? So at least it gives everybody an options. You know, or you can fish them all. But I think that this is going to be great. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, competition drives everybody. And even if it's not about the competitions, it's nice to have choices as an angler. You know what I mean? We can kind of pick and choose the lakes, pick and choose the series, and you know, put our money where we want to. And you know, it's nice to be able to do that finally.
Yeah, I think the breath of fresh air is just something that's just needed for whatever reason. It just feels good. Even if I weren't a part of it, it's just the buzz. It's just like last year when Hobie dropped. You know. We knew it was going to be quality because of AJ and Kevin and
right.
everything. And it turned out to probably supersede anything we could ever expect. And I hope that this is the same way, because I can tell you, man, I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to work my balls off to do everything we can to make this as fun and enjoyable as we do our TBKA events. I mean, you know, I'm ready for it. I'm excited. I'm dehydrated up here. I'm excited, man. I've had so much fun with it. I'm ready.
Hey,
You already have, buddy. You already have worked your butt off. Sorry.
We got some more questions coming in. I don't want them to fly by without me getting them. If you fish 4 of the 5 events, you automatically qualify. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Are you guys as regional directors allowed to fish?
Yes, I believe so. Actually, some of them will actually interchange. So you may have a tournament director from. I mean, like Steve-O wants to go to Clear Lake. He already told me he does. So he might, let me just say this, he might go to Clear Lake and help Juan run it so Juan can fish, because Juan may not be able to travel all the way over here to fish another one. So, you know,
Can you fish the one you're directing, I guess is maybe what they're asking. Like if you're the director of the Chickamauga event, can you fish it?
I don't think that ever even actually came up. I don't
think it did either.
I'm not. I'll just tell you that. I'm not. So, yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm going to be busy with everything else.
Yeah.
And that's
we gotta
probably,
get it right.
I mean, I know that sucks, but it's probably best for
Right.
avoiding controversy. You know, AJ fell on the sword with the Hobie series all year long and sat out while he could be out there cashing checks. So I know it's tough, but
Man.
it's big what you guys are doing to run these and you know, sit down an event that I know you'd like to fish, because you guys are all obviously great tournament directors, but everybody knows each of you can fish and love to compete. So
Yeah. That kind of sucks, but, you know, we married to Pepto-Bismol. We'll be all right.
yeah, that's all right. We're getting folks checking in about which events they're going to. Chick, Logan, and Lacrosse. We've got some people saying they're not going to do Fork, but they're going to do some other ones. I feel like some people are kind of hesitant about doing Fork. They're worried about it being crowded, but, I mean, Lake Fork's always crowded.
Yeah. Did we touch on the MLF scheduling thing already when I was in my black hole? Okay.
You kind of blacked out on us, but, yeah. We touched on that a little bit and talked about how that was not an intentional deal and nobody was trying to poke anybody. It just worked out that way.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, and I get Fork, you know, but man, we've had events on Chickamauga, as small as it is, with 700 bass boats, and we still had 40 something anglers in a kayak tournament. And I'm stupid. I fished ledges in the middle of the summer on Chickamauga, and I was out in the middle of it at the cooling towers, and I had very little issue, so it is what it is. I get it. But having said that, if that's the way a person feels about that, then they truly probably do need to stay off of it so that they're not apprehensive
Right.
and make a mistake and get hurt, So that's cool too,
Yeah. And here's the deal. I'd say any lake that's of any significance in your area in March or April is going to be covered up. So it's not something really, And
Yeah.
Lake Fork, I don't know how many of you guys – well, I know Tyler's been there. He's cashed big money.
Yeah, I've been there.
But it's not a place people are ripping across wide open out unless you're in the boat lanes anyway. So you just got to find a place to fish and get out of the way, and you're okay.
There's plenty of places to fish on that lake that you can get out of the way.
Jim Clark, Sia Logan, Chickamauga Lake, La Crosse. It looks like a lot of these guys are targeting at least 3 events.
That's awesome, guys. That's awesome.
Yeah. Clear Lake's interesting. I know, California is its own beast out there on the West Coast, but I know that Clear Lake's, a destination bucket list lake for a lot of people. So there may be some people planning to fly out there and figure out the kayak situation. I don't know how that's going to go down, but it sounds like a good time.
Yep.
Cody chimed in, said there'll be plenty of room on Fork, but that doesn't make it right. I don't know what he means by that.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, it sounds like Bass had this scheduled way before the MLF guys did. It was not meant to be a conflict, and it's not like they put an Elite Series event there. They put a kayak event there. So I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ McMurray already got your list. We're fixing to start adding people to the tournaments tonight. So I got about 22 for Logan Martin, and just let y'all know we're working on adding those to the tournaments.
Hey, and for all the local guys, I have a master list of all of the Bass presidents in every state. So if you need it, if you can't find it on the website, reach out to me and I'll email it to you. So.
And one more thing, folks ought to be aware of if they haven't really looked hard yet, is you can't say, I'm the worst about this. I procrastinate and sign up the day before every dang event there is. You cannot do this with this series, right? There's a cutoff.
Yeah, we'll publish that with every event page that we create as well. I've got that graphic in here. Sorry, I don't have it memorized, but Dwayne, was it 2 weeks before or the week before?
It's 14 days, I believe.
14
so
days.
You please sign up as a free member on Tourney X. You can sign up as a paid member on Tourney X. It's entirely up to you, however you want to do that. But you must be a member on Tourney X. Okay, go over to the BASS website, sign up over there, pay the dues over there. They're going to get us a list every couple of weeks, so y'all be patient with us. We'll get these names on the list, so you'll see your name. If you want to message me, that's fine. I'd rather you just hold off. Give me a couple of weeks to get the names on, but we will get you taken care of. But you must be a Tourney X member, because I can't find you in the Tourney X database if you're not a member when you go pay at Bass. So
yeah, I sent that to you, Jeff.
All right. Hey, David Cruz just asked, how's the ID going to be handled?
we're going to get that one. We haven't even discussed it yet. So it'll be probably electronic through Tourney X. We'll probably do it that way and probably still send it out somehow or another. Well, no, it'll be local. We'll probably just do a local one.
Like a
laminated
card of some sort, I guess.
Yeah, we'll do something. Yep, absolutely.
All right.
We'll work with Bass on that.
Let's see what else we got flying in here. Any more questions out there, guys? If I missed one of your questions, or any of us did, and it scrolled on by, shoot that thing back out there again. We'll try to catch it this time on the repeat.
Yeah. David, it's actually in our rules to have your identifier in your photograph, so we'll have physical ID for you.
Yeah. You guys want to roll through the sponsor lineup real quick of who you know about and who may be coming?
Dwayne probably knows that better.
Do you mean sponsors like who sponsored the tournament series or what?
The title sponsors and who's going to be
the title sponsor is it Hook or Hook? I don't know how you pronounce that.
Hook.
Is it Hook? Okay, so Hook's the title sponsor, and it's presented by Abu Garcia. I do know that. Or what's their parent company? Abu's parent company.
Pure Fishing.
Pure Fishing, correct.
Gotcha.
So that's the two main sponsors. I'm not sure about any other than that.
I know Old Town's involved. I'm not sure exactly
Yes.
their level of involvement yet. I actually talked to their marketing person, Dan. He's going to come probably on and talk about that at some point. So yeah, it's exciting to see, another kayak company jump involved in a big tournament series as well. So
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun, that's for
it's
sure.
gonna be fun. I'm waiting for more questions to come in. We still got a bunch of people on here. We got looks like about 100 people on.
Almost
the show.
100 people. That's phenomenal, guys. Thanks for joining in on us.
It's been a great night. We appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this.
Let me say one thing, Jeff. I want to throw this out there, but the guys that we're working with, Steve Owen and Tyler Cole and Patrick Malone and Juan Nunez, I want you to know one thing. There's not and also let me just throw there Ben Smith. Ben Smith's been helping us out. He's kind of been like a liaison. Ben Smith with Mountain State Kayak Anglers. He's working with us too. And I tell you what, I couldn't ask for a better bunch of guys. I'm just going to let you know that. I called Steve-O up. I asked him, I said, Steve, you mind helping me out? And I'm going to tell you what, he jumped in feet first. He didn't even flinch. And then we pulled Patrick Malone in, had Ben Smith in, and then I reached over and grabbed Tyler, and then we didn't know who to talk to in California, and we got a couple of guys together, and Juan popped his name up, and so I could not be more happier with the guys that we have chosen. They're going to do everything they can to help everybody out. So if you got any questions, needs, concerns, reach out to one of these guys in your local area, and I'm sure they're going to bend over backwards to help you out.
Man, I tell you what, just the ones I know, just the two guys on screen with us here. I know you couldn't find a better tournament director out there, so it sounds like a great team you have built. And it kind of eases the minds. When everybody heard this, one of the first things they said is, well, who's doing this? They didn't want some guys that weren't involved with kayak fishing just trying to ram something down our throats. So it's cool to see, experienced tournament directors kind of take hold of this. We've got a question from Jason Young. He's asking, if a club chooses to become a Bass Nation state organization, does that preclude them from partnering with other organizations such as KBF? I would say that'd be a question for them. I don't really know the answer to that.
Well, as I said, Bass said literally, you structure your state format the way you want as of right now. They're not going to come in and tell you what you can and can't do on the state level.
No,
Right.
I don't think there's a problem with that. Thanks for the question, Jason.
Logan Martin, boundaries for that, dam to dam. I don't know if you guys have all that set up yet or not with the event.
We do not. We'll get that out soon.
Gotcha. Steve came in here and talked about the off-limits periods, no pre-fishing. I think Katie actually posted a link to the rules PDF that's available on the BASS website. You can go to bassmaster.com, I think, and find all of that. I don't know if that's the updated one or not with your tiebreaker rules and all that kind of stuff. But
They did update them today. I believe so.
Okay. Jamie Broad asked about pre-fishing. I think Steve just commented there is no off-limits for pre-fishing, right?
Yeah, only bass boat guides.
Guides and fishing from a boat itself or just guides?
That is not in the rules, fishing from a boat.
Okay. Mark Torres is a little confused on the rules. Said the $30. That's a state level thing, not a requirement to fish the opens. Mark, if I'm understanding that right, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. That's if you guys want to be part of the state Bass Nation is where that 30 comes in.
You're correct.
All right. He's a lifetime member of Bass, I guess, but I think that maybe Katie came in clutch once again and threw the link back in there. Ben,
We need to hire Katie.
yeah, Katie.
Yeah.
Hey man, Team Backup don't play. Her and her husband are awesome people.
Thank you, Katie.
Asked about approved measuring boards. What are we talking about here, fellas? Hog trough and catch board, or is there anything
That's
else?
it.
Yep.
Those two. Yeah, those two.
Let's do.
Possibly be the new catch board if it ever works out, which we
Remember that, Duke. There's another one we helped get you in, buddy. Remember all of us.
What's the scoop on the championship? Is there any added money to the Classic Championship, the 2021 championship, I guess, that will be the culmination of this year?
That's unknown. The 2021 is, we don't know yet on that one.
Right. So none of the money from each of these tournaments is going to that. That would be just a sponsor deal, perhaps.
I don't, there's questions that, some of those questions we can't answer.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. Something
Yeah.
for is it Stewart? Isn't he the guy over there?
yeah. So,
Yeah.
He'll let us know when we can tell everybody the payout on that.
Okay.
They're
yeah,
factoring it up.
I got
We're
you.
just facilitating the tournaments and yeah.
So we can't throw out like $1 million or something crazy to get everybody involved. Get them all happy.
$1 million, but it's subject to change.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
That's that. Yeah. Let's see.
Still have 95 members on here, man. Y'all share it up. Let's get this
Yeah.
thing rolled.
Appreciate you guys and keep asking questions. And we'll try to go back. I'll ask the three of you guys to go back and scroll through these comments tomorrow, see if we missed anything, and see if we can chime in there and catch up with what somebody might have asked and we missed. So if we did miss anyone, I apologize, but appreciate everybody jumping on here.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said before, you have any questions, reach out to one of us. If we don't have the answer right away, we will get it and get back to you immediately. I mean, that's part of any tournament. It's frustrating when you're waiting on an answer.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys any idea on the payout turnarounds for these tournaments when they do complete? Are they?
We have discussed that in depth, and they are basically. Now don't quote me on this, guys, but they're saying they possibly can cut the check on a Tuesday after the tournament, Monday or Tuesday after the tournament. I don't know if somebody's going to be on staff on location to cut the checks. I'm not sure yet. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. I can say that. The one thing that they do not want to do is they don't want to wait and drag this thing out. They want people to be taken care of, and so that's the main reason for the W9s. The W9s are going to be taken care of on site. We'll probably have an electronic deal where we send you out where you can just print it yourself, go ahead and fill it out and bring it in when you come in. So when you're coming through the line to check in, you'll have everything in order. License, W9, all that stuff.
Somebody asked, explain the no off limits. Does that mean unlimited pre-fishing is what that means, right?
Yes. Yeah, there's no cutoff on pre-fishing. But now, yeah.
Briefing.
Personal, just can't have a guide. Personal pre-fish. You can go pre-fish on your own as much as you want.
Correct. No guide.
Yeah. And if I understand the rules right, there's no Bluetooth squad allowed. You can't call your buddies and collaborate on what's going on with the bite around the lake, right?
Nope.
Okay. And these guys are going to have polygraphs available if they question any of this kind of stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah. Their presence will be at every event. They're not just throwing it out there for us to run and not be a part of. John Stewart, he's making it to every one of them. So he said. So.
Okay.
The only one he said he may not make was California. He did say that, but he's not sure. But he said somebody will be there.
Clint Henderson asked, can an angler buy into the championship by paying for 4 events?
Sure, man. Throw it in.
He's asking for Jim Clark. I don't know what that
well,
means.
legitimate. Is that?
These boys,
Oh, me.
These boys getting
It's
wild.
always one.
All right.
Old Jim.
Yeah, everybody's asking a lot of questions about the state championship qualifier and boards and tournaments. Reach out. I think you can get on the BASS website and find the state president. I think Steve said he had a list of contacts for that. Reach out to him. And you can get with your state president and work that out. I mean, I don't think that BASS Nation wants to start more circuits in your area necessarily. They just want to work with the ones that are already going and bring them on board. Or at least that'd be the best way to do it, in my opinion.
But that's not saying that if there's not one in your area, you can't start one. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely,
So
yeah.
if for instance, if there's a president, if there's a BASS association or BASS Nation association in a state, but they don't have a kayak series, okay, and you want to start your own, yes, you can do that. But you'll have to contact that president and work with him and get this thing on board. So yes, definitely.
And if you're a large or small organization, you can reach out to your state guy and partner with them. It doesn't sound like there's a minimum number of members or anything like that. Just kind of rally with your club and get enough members to pay those fees. We got somebody asking, why is there Tuesday tournaments? He must be on like a 2025 calendar or something, brother. There's no Tuesday tournaments.
Tony, there's no Tuesday tournaments.
Yeah.
There's a Thursday tournament only, and it'll be the day before the opening of the Bassmaster Classic for 2020.
Right.
And that's because we're doing the kickoff on that day. I'm sorry it's on a Thursday, but come on and fish.
Well, and the good thing about that Thursday also, a few of the other pros have pointed out, is by them fishing on Thursday, now they have Friday, Saturday to do their thing for their sponsors and everything like that. And like Dwayne said, you know, fishing on Thursday, keep it a secret until Friday, and then you get up on the mother freaking stage, man. That's something, man. That is awesome. I mean, golly, I'd wear a diaper if I got up there. I swear to God, I'd have to wear a diaper.
Hey,
I tell you what, Jim Clark, bring you one.
Hey, Ben Smith just corrected me on something. Said he thinks you have to have at least 12 members to be recognized. So that may be right. I was just kind of winging it on that. Somebody asked another question. It's a good one. It says, if you are established, does that mean everyone in your club would have to be a Bass Nation member, or only the ones that are members have an opportunity to qualify? Which is it?
Bass Nation, they have to be a member to be a part of that club.
So if our club was a Bass Nation club, everyone in it would have to pay that fee, right?
Correct.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is there going to be a launch time and then lines in, or launch whenever you want and lines in at a certain time?
We'll probably do, we're still got to work all those kinks out, to be honest with you guys. Just give us some time. But probably do it like a launch time and a lines in the water and then lines out. And, you know.
Jim Clark said the stage changes people.
What do you know?
They go Ricky Bobby. They don't know what to do with their hands and just stick them under their armpits.
Jim's going to hate me. Hey, Jim.
Superstar.
That's right.
Love you, Jim.
All right, well, guys, you guys have anything to add before we wrap this thing up? We've been going about an hour. I've had a bunch of great questions.
It's probably one of the biggest shows you've had, brother.
Yeah, man, it's been a big one. I mean, you know, anytime there's something new. Last year when the Hobie BOS came on the scene and we had AJ on, it was the same kind of deal. The excitement was huge. And, that culminated with the TOC, which was everything it was promised to be. And now we've got this to be looking forward to, and I'm sure it's going to be the same way. People are going to have a blast following the Bass Nation series around. So anything new, gets people fired up, and they want information. They're hungry.
Yep, 2020 is going to be a crazy year, so just stay tuned.
Mr. Torres is the president in California right now. He spoke in and said that you only need 6 members to be recognized as a club.
6, okay, well, that's easy. Even that little club in Kentucky that was came out of nowhere last year can get in there with the 5 or 6 members. All right,
And you have to use Tourney X, right, Steve?
For your state championship, yes, you do.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in this area that does it anyway.
And we actually want to start trying to do a few tutorial videos for new startup clubs to show them how to get into Tourney X, because every big event just about is ran on it. So you need to be familiar with it and show how easy it is to get into it. Because like in our local club, when we do lake-wide events and use Tourney X, we actually, fishing is over at, say, 3, check-in is at 4. We put a buffer in there for new people to show up, and we'll help you upload your fish and show you how to do it, because we don't want you to be intimidated, because literally some people just would break their phone if they tried to use it. So we don't mind helping with that, and it's worked really good for us. So we want to do the same across the nation, because in the end, dude, we're still teaching, wanting to grow, and bring everybody in that we can that's brand new. So
hey, let me ask you
that
this.
includes learning Tourney X. So.
Yeah, before we get out of here, do you guys think that because of the Bass name, the Bass Nation, that we're going to see some bass boat guys come over?
I think we will.
Come over and, not in droves necessarily, but kind of say, hey, let me get in somebody's kayak and get in one of these opens.
I think you will.
There's actually 2 guys I work. Sorry, Dwayne. I thought you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
There's 2 guys I work with that are doing it. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, with this name, people, we're in the niche. We're in kayak fishing. We're on all these groups, so we think kayak fishing is the biggest thing ever. But to a lot of people, they're like, "Huh, what is this?" But now with Bass Nation coming on board, it really gives us some legitimate platform to look at and makes people a little more comfortable maybe with trying it out. So it's exciting. Let's see. There's a few more questions coming in, but we'll try to get caught up on those. They're kind of the same ones that we've kind of already answered. I'd go back through and watch this later. If you're somebody that's watching this or listening to this, we'll upload this to the podcast later. If you're listening to this on the podcast, help us out and give us a review and like on that podcast, whatever platform you're on, iTunes or iHeartRadio, wherever you might be listening to it. We appreciate you there too. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. Anything else before we get out of here, guys? I'm going to wrap this thing up.
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, Dwayne, Tyler, Steve, go
Come
ahead,
see
Tyler.
me up north.
Yeah, come see him up north. We appreciate you guys, man. It's going to be an exciting 2020.
Not till summer next year.
Yeah. And like I said, these guys are available. Reach out to them. Post your questions under this video. We'll try to get back to them. And thanks again, everybody, for jumping on here tonight. It's been a fun night. And we'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you all.